Greetings once again, one and all. Hope you're well. As we approach the final session for this portrait of Sage, and we're going to be an hour long today. So as you'll probably notice from the notation at the bottom of your screen, no sign of Sage, but Fynn is around. You going to come and say hello, Fynn? Huh? Come on. Oh, well, then don't. Okay, so we're going to have at it. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and I hope you enjoy what you see today. If you do, please subscribe and hit the bell icon for future notifications, and like and share and comment. I always enjoy and appreciate and respond, most importantly, to comments. So thank you for that in advance. If you have any queries, observations that you'd like to share with me, please go ahead and do so. It only helps to motivate my growth on YouTube. So yeah, anyway, where should I begin? I think a little bit of, let's start with some charcoal. Just scratch around a bit like a chicken in the sand with my charcoal stick. I don't know where that thought came from. A chicken scratching in the sand. It actually reminds me of in army days, back when I was much younger, national service. Every morning, the entire company would have to do something called chicken parade, which was basically picking up cigarette butts outside windows around our bungalows, etc. Don't know where that thought came from either, but anyway, the thoughts do have a tendency to kind of ramble one into the other. Chicken parade, scratching around in the dirt, which kind of was the instigation for these sessions, for my Artsy Musings sessions. It's basically a case of working with my thinking, processing my thoughts, allowing new thoughts to emerge as I work, as I share with you, the viewer, what I'm thinking about, etc. And how important it's been to me. So these random thoughts that occur, these random observations, you know, they're actually not random, because you know that's how our thinking works, and we go from one to the other. Before we know it, we've forgotten what we originally were thinking about, or we had intended giving thought to, or processing, or whatever. And yeah, and before we know it, we're down a different path. So you know, it's for really these sessions are about that, this random exploration, this the as I've always called them, mental meanderings that I tend to have, and I kind of, as I work, I get to process these meandering thoughts and what have you. and it's a very important thing to do. You know, it's a very important part of growth. It's a very important part of understanding and recognizing, or recognizing and understanding, the other way around, possibilities that come up for us each day. So yes, it's these sessions have become have played a very important role for me in my life and my artistic development, because they've helped me to so much to observe. Yes, so much. I'm bringing in some yellowy sort of. Her fur color. It goes from more gingery on the top and slightly darker ginger, down to the much lighter ginger, which I'm depicting this with yellow for now, and then I'm going to work in with my Conte, white Conte, just to bring about those, so it just softens that yellow a wee bit, just a wee bit. It's more of a marigold really than yellow, mellow yellow. Right. And I was just thinking, you know, setting up the camera tends to have a slightly warped, because her face is so large and it covers the entire subject area. It tends to warp a little bit, and so in your video it would look a bit strange. It look a bit strange, and you'll see that sort of foreshortening, and the edges kind of just expand a little bit in your video. So you just kind of have to bear with me with that. It is a little bit, there is a bit of a wide angleness to it, to these videos. So yeah, anyway, like I've been saying all along though, you know, the eyes are what I'm going to be working on today in this final session, and those, once I've pulled that together, a lot of darkness going on here, so they're not quite so sort of popping eyes in a bulging almost. So once I've sorted that out, it will take more of a semblance of what Sage really looks like, her character, because the eyes are her character, really they are, and so hopefully we can achieve that. And then after the session, I'm going to have to just do a little bit of perhaps tweaking and what have you, just to bring the very subtle nuances about, and yeah, there's subtle shading here and there and little tweaks, and yeah, so that I shall do, if I need to, that is, after the session, and only with the final session. I don't generally do any extra work in between, between the first and second session, for example, or the second and third. So yeah, you can rest assured that you're getting sort of 95% of the progress, and that's what I really set about is in my offering is that very thing. I'm just gonna, I need to focus a little bit here because we've got some, she's got these little pink, there's a split where from down, that runs down from her nose to her top lip, where there's no fur, and that kind of little split is quite pinkish. So I'm going to just describe that. And this is kind of a brick color, a light brick color. It's not quite magenta, well, it's not, definitely not magenta, and it's not pink, but it has this, it's kind of not even peach. It's probably got a name. Granted, it's probably got a name, but I just, you know, call it brick red. Pale brick red. It's got these little pinkish lip type of thing that goes on here. Okay, let's do some more work up the top here on this ear, and then I'm going to launch into the eyes. Who knows, this session might not end up being altogether an hour, actually. I never can tell. I just like to give myself that leeway just in case, if I need it. Right, so just on the edge of her ear, the white fur behind her ear, just coming over the lip a little bit. Just in need to depict that. See, all of these areas now I need to go over. Got the base color, and I need to just go over with my white Conte and just put in these little flecks of white. So it just kind of softens the entire, and I need to go over the whole piece with this. So in fact, let me break out a new one. I think, where are they? Here we go. Ah, there we go. I can use a bit more of my wrist to so I can just describe these lovely little soft hairs, because her fur is very soft, silky, and it's quite, she's quite a short-haired cat. So I'm just trying to depict that. I don't want it to look like she's too woolly. So that's why these short little strokes, will still capture the essence of her fur without whitening them too much, just lightening these areas a wee bit, but also showing up as you know, these short little these short little hairs that she has, and perhaps even alluding to her the silkiness of her fur. This yeah, she's a very silky smooth little kitty, whereas Fynn is more, she's got quite, I won't say coarse fur, but it's a lot more sort of, it's a lot more thicker than what Sage's is, and she's more sort of cuddly. You can whereas Sage is delicate and delicate little flower. So this is the characteristics. These are the characteristics that I'm trying to emulate and bring forth in this portrait. Once again, the top edge of her ear. Of course, this is more in shadow, so we don't see quite as much of the pinkish red. I'll just put a little bit in, just the merest hint. Okay, that's enough. And again, following the growth pattern of her fur and how it spreads out over her skull. Once again, need to reiterate, I'm not going for photorealism here. What you see might look quite sort of photorealistic, and I've been told that at times, that sometimes these artworks of mine do look like photographs, but they're actually, if you come up close, you'll see how scratchy they are. They're very graphic. So it's I work more with hinting at, or the illusion of detail, rather than actual detail. Anyway, this is fun. Whatever I'm achieving. Let's just now depict a few of these little whisker nodes, not nodes. What do you call them? Paws, or where the hair attaches, follicles, whatever. That thing. Just a couple of these little spots just to yeah, that one. kind of do. For now, okay, so we continue with our Conte crayon work, just building up these, following the contours of her face, and the contours laid down with the fur. Subtle changes in direction every now and again. It just kind of helps to build form in this otherwise very white face. A little bit of disruption in this cast shadow area. Finicky work this, it really is, but necessary nonetheless. You can hear the honey daws again today. Their strident call. Right, and now a wee bit of work with my very soft white pastel. We've got neighbours not too far away making a little bit of noise. There's a koi fish business that next door, and this being a Saturday morning, weekend people tend to come and bring kids and whatever, so I do get a bit of noise from there, but my windows are all closed, and so it shouldn't be too bad. So you'll see, hopefully you can see it in the video, you can see how when I use this white, very soft white pastel, it shows up against the other white, quite pronounced in its intensity. So I do need to be quite careful that I don't overstep, and that's why, another reason why I have to simply do a little bit of more work after the session, just to check up on these kind of things that I haven't, if I need to soften some of the white or whatever, if it's just a bit too much, then I shall do so. or add to it for that matter. Just go a little bit softer here. Always following the curvature of her facial definition. Yeah, it's coming on. It's coming on. And just also softening that with a little bit of eraser work. Just over half an hour left, a little bit more than half an hour, which is ample. As I said in the previous session, I want to spend at least 20 minutes on the eyes alone. And about 5 minutes also putting in your whiskers and doing those little things that will make a difference. Make a big difference, actually. But I need to establish all of this first, because once I start with doing the whiskers, that means I can't alter anything beneath the whiskers, because they're quite strong strokes that I need to put in, and they'll actually be quite defining in the composition as such, because they'll break up this sort of bland coloring over here in the shadow, and just create a little bit of discord, because they stark white standing out, these long white streaks. Anyway, that's the plan, Stan. Whether it works out like that is as it must be, as it should be. So that needs to soften a bit. The eraser does a really sterling job in blending colors together, allowing for texture. I do know that a lot of artists use an eraser. Of course, I'm not claiming that it's my my unique discovery, even though it was purely by chance that I did discover how potent a tool it was. So if I sound like I'm making a unique discovery in the art world, then you got me wrong. Not at all. Just that the way I use it, perhaps, you know, I don't, you know, there are those eraser pencils that you get as well, which artists use. And I've never used one of those. I might get one at some point. But for me, this plain old eraser, it does a charming job. Overall, that is. I want to bring in a little bit more of this lilac here. Just a wee bit. A hint. In fact, I'm going to use a little bit darker lilac as well. There's no harm in using this seemingly a color that seemingly doesn't belong here. But if you look at anything, there is, especially like if you look at shadow, if you look at a photograph, and you look at the shadowy areas, you can certainly pick out. It's not grey, because it's in color, and well, if it's not, unless it's a black and white image, of course, but it's never ever grey. There's always some color in everything, and there's a full spectrum of color in everything. So to make use of that as loosely as I possibly can, or it just captures the eye and the imagination, so that your mind's eye fills in the rest. And that's where I talk about the illusion of detail, etc. Because this little discordant color that doesn't appear to belong, but it does belong, and your eye, your mind, your brain tells you that it's okay, it looks right, it's fine, it does the trick, it does what it's meant to do. But your thinking doesn't register, because your mind is already being tricked. So your mind is not then telling you, no, this is wrong. This doesn't work. Okay, right, I'm going to work on the eyes. Where are we? Right, let's bring in some yellow. That's going to be very much softened out. Yellow on this side and a little bit of pale green on that side. I think it's I want to accentuate the difference in color of her eyes a little bit. Not as anywhere near as much as it is in reality, but it's as close as damn it. So I want to use this a pepperminty yellow on this side, just a wee bit, yeah. And in fact, just a little reflection there as well. A little bit more of this now, including a little bit of turquoise. There we go. And a bit on the side, because their eyes are very close in their colour. But the one is slightly more yellow and the other one is slightly more green. Okay, let's soften all that out. Right, now they look very, very, very bright, and that's not to be, not for very much longer. Let's build this up. Eyes, very, very important. Eyes believe that it's very important anyway. So I don't have that much to say right now, because right now I am really having to pay close attention to this, to the very, I mean, okay, where is that damn color? Okay, there it is. The eyes are very delicate, and the eyes, being the window to the soul, actually speak of character. So that for me, I need to get right. If nothing else, I need to get that right. The little highlights and everything at the end. Okay, and a little bit of vegan poo brown in here as well. Yep. Into the fray. Right, and now I need to also be working in a little, where is it? There you are, working at the back there. Darken this. Actually, first of all, I want to use my black Conte. Not so much to outline, but there's a dark rim Not all the way around, but it's there. And then I need to soften that out a bit. It's darker up the top here, so I need to. Are you still there? I hope nobody's getting bored and going away, because this is the crucial part of this artwork, is working on this, just building subtly, slowly building the color of the eye. And her eyes are not completely circular, of course, they're sort of elliptical. And they're also looking up, so you know, we've got quite a subtle and then of course they're curved as well, so you know, even the pupils, these black pupils, are not entirely black, because you've got a subtle, because you've got this bulge of kind of the pupils are set back from the outer circumference of the eye itself, which is clear, completely clear. So you've also got that subtle effect of light as it enters the iris and then into the depths of the eye itself. So very, very important and subtle work here with light. Quite dark here. And then just fading off up as we back towards the top, but not too much. Oh, it's so important to get a nice crisp edge to this pupil. So important. And of course, because of the angle of how we're looking at her, because so one pupil is slightly to that side and the other one than this one, because she's looking up, and because of the distortion created by the curvature of the eye, the eyeball. Very important, these little observations. And that's when I speak about the importance of observation and interpretation. Stop and look. What do you see? What do you really see? Because that makes the difference in definition in life in general. What do you really see? How does it make a difference? How is what you see make a difference? Because the mind plays tricks on us. The mind tries to tell us Oh, you know it. You know. You already know it. That's fine. Just let it go. And there's something else, better things to think about. And so we let go, and the details pass us by. And sometimes those details are absolutely critical for us. That's a bit better. Right, so just some subtle shading here. Just slightly intensifying the darker area at the top, towards the top of her eye. Because don't forget, I need not forget that she's looking up, she's sitting in a tree, so she's got the canopy over her of the tree. So that's why this top part of her eyes are darker. However, we do have a reflection just around the top edges of her eyes here, which reflect the open sky, and that's just whew, this is quite see, I've got it because I can't actually depict specific detail with my charcoal. It's and with a pastel, it's very tricky. It's very tricky to try and get detail without being able to get detail, if you know what I'm saying. That balance of light plays such a huge role here. Ah, come on, man. How are we doing for time? 10 minutes, 10, 12, 13 minutes. Whatever it takes. And of course the paper lends itself to this broken kind of light, almost dappled light that you're also going to find in her eyes. A bit of pale green here. Also needs to be careful not to overwork. Nearly there now. I think I said I wasn't going to, but I am going to use just a touch of compressed charcoal here. So I lied. I need some very black. That should do. And of course, because of the closeness, because of the direction in which her eyes are pointing, so we really are zoomed in here. The one eye is looking sort of, they're both looking in the same direction, but the one eye is kind of, we're seeing more of this eye than we are of that eye. As you can see, the two are, one is smaller than the other in any case, but the pupil is also a little bit differently shaped because of the angle. Right, so let's see, where's my, what am I looking for, guy? Yeah, there we go. Let's get our little sparkles in here, shall we? That's it. And then a softer, harder pastel for whew. So critical. That's better. Right. Yeah, so this I shall have to look at as well. Just make sure that it's spot on. So that's the eyes. Let me just sit back a little bit here. Just take the edge off that very light blue and green and pepperminty color, just to take the edge off that so that it's not quite so prominent. And I'm using a little bit of mossy green for that. By and large, it's fine. Right, let's put in some nice whiskers, shall we? I keep seeing things that I need to do. Right, so let's just go from here. Right off the page. And also right. Just to also just liven up the graphic qualities here a little bit here, and then we're done. Just a wee bit of doodling, and we're done. We are done. Right, let's sign off. Actually, no, I'm not going to sign off because I still have a little bit more work to do, and I will not sign off until I have completed and I'm satisfied. So, yes, there we have Sage. Thank you for joining. I hope you've enjoyed the process, and do join me again for the next series. I'm more than likely going to be doing Fynn this time, my little Black Panther. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. It's quite punchy, isn't it? Anyway, take care, folks. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I bid you oodles and oodles of toodles. So yeah, until we meet again, for the next series, I ask you to be good, be kind, be gentle, be caring, be loving, etc., etc. So yeah, have a good one, folks, and see you again next time. Take it easy. Bye. but don't forget to doodle.